Hi everyone, thank you so much for listening and thank you for following along. We'll get back to the music in just one moment, but first we want to share some important information with y'all. 100 years ago, the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was ratified, and this gave some women the right to vote. So, in celebration of this really important centennial, our group Open Source Baroque, along with the help of some of our colleagues in the Juilliard Historical Performance Program, are recording the music of women composers from the 17th and 18th centuries. This week, we're really excited to share some music by Barbara Strozzi with y'all.
Born 1619 in Venice, Italy, Barbara Strozzi published 8 volumes of vocal works from 1644 to 1664. In these volumes, mostly consisting of secular madrigals, arias, and cantatas, Strozzi established herself as a prolific composer in the mid-17th century Italian cantata tradition. Her compositions show an appreciation for the nuances of a text and performance, indicated by the care with which she marked tempo, dynamics, and ornamentation. As the illegitimate child of Giulio Strozzi, the famous librettist and socialite, and his servant, Isabella Griega, Barbara was provided with musical and intellectual training as a young girl. She studied with composer Francesco Cavalli and later rose to become the main orator, composer, and singer at her father's Accademia degli Unisoni, an intellectual gathering for famous writers, where Barbara exhibited her musical talents while debating rhetorical and intellectual subjects. In 17th century Italy, where women's literacy and education, and especially public music making, were considered unchaste, women's voices and academic contributions were often silenced. By choosing to step into the public sphere and create personal capital through music making, women like Barbara Strozzi asserted bodily autonomy when women's bodies were not necessarily considered to belong to them. Her music emphasizes the power of her personal voice and its contribution to the artistic affects in her work. She remarked in the publication of Opus 7, the opus from which Lagrime Mie is drawn, "These harmonic notes are the language of the soul and instruments of the heart."
There are just a few weeks left until the November 3rd election is over. So, it's important to check your voter registration now and make a plan to vote. You can go to vote.org to check your state's particular deadline for voter registration. At this website, you can also enter your information to check your registration status, and you can make a plan to either request an absentee ballot, or to early vote, or to go to the polls on election day and cast your vote. Finally, if you're wondering where do I go to early vote or where do I go on November 3rd, the actual election day, to cast my ballot, you can go to vote.org/pollingplacelocator and enter the address where you are registered to vote, and a list of times and locations for early voting will appear, as well as the location where you should go on November 3rd. Thank you for taking the time to register to vote and to make a plan to vote before November 3rd. Now back to the music.